Translators and televisions didn't exist, and motor vehicle ownership was reserved for engineers and wealthy eccentrics. Obtaining and preparing food demanded effort, and life itself was exercise. How common was obesity among our American forebears? To find out, researchers Lawrence Helmken and Max Henderson pored through the medical records of more than 12,000 middle-aged, white Civil War veterans and used their height and weight measurements to calculate a figure called the Body Mass Index, BMI. BMI is basically a measure of weight that is corrected for height so we can compare weights between people of different statures. It's a simple measure that's commonly used to classify people as lean, overweight, or obese. A BMI below 25 is classified as lean. 25 to 29.9 is overweight, and 30 and above is obese. When Helmken and Henderson crunched the numbers, they found something truly remarkable. Prior to the turn of the 20th century, fewer than 1 out of 17 middle-aged white men was obese. The researchers then calculated the prevalence of obesity in the same demographic between 1999 and 2000, using data from the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. They found that it started at 24% in early middle age, ages 40 through 49, and increased sharply to 41% by retirement age, ages 60 through 69. Side-by-side comparison of the data from 1890 to 1900 and 1999 to 2000 yields a striking contrast. This suggests that obesity was much less common in the United States before the turn of the 20th century, just as it remains uncommon in traditionally living societies today. Although obesity has existed among the wealthy for thousands of years, as demonstrated by the portly 3,500-year-old mummy of the Egyptian queen Hatshepsut, in all of human history it has probably never been as common as it is today. Let's take a closer look at the last half-century, because that's the period over which our data are the most reliable, and during which these numbers have changed most dramatically. In 1960, 1 out of 7 U.S. adults had obesity. By 2010, that number had increased to 1 out of 3. The prevalence of extreme obesity increased even more remarkably over that time period, from 1 out of 111 to 1 out of 17. Ominously, the prevalence of obesity in children also increased nearly 5-fold. Most of these changes occurred after 1978 and happened with dizzying speed. Public health authorities call this the obesity epidemic, and it's having a profound impact on health and well-being in the United States and throughout the affluent world. The latest research suggests that we may be gravely underestimating the health impacts of obesity, as up to 1/3 of all deaths among older U.S. adults is linked to excess weight. Diabetes rates are soaring, as are orthopedic problems caused by obesity. Nearly 200,000 Americans per year are having their digestive tracts surgically restricted or rerouted to lose weight. Clothing is now available in staggering sizes, such as XXXXXXXXL. Why are we so much fatter than we used to be? The answer lies in what we've been eating and how it relates to the fat we carry, which we'll explore shortly. But we first have to understand how food delivers energy to our bodies. The calorie is born. Contrary to popular belief, the term calorie was not invented by Snackwells. Rather, it was coined in the early 1800s and was used by scientists to measure energy in all its different forms by the same metric, as heat, light, motion, or the potential energy contained in chemical bonds. These chemical bonds are found in bread, meat, beer, and most other foods, which release their potential energy as heat and light when burned, just like wood or gasoline. In 1887, Wilbur Atwater, the father of modern nutrition science, described how the potential energy in food fuels the furnace of the human body. The same energy from the sun is stored in the protein and fats.